Eye on Sun Valley, daily local news from beautiful Sun Valley, Idaho.
Hi, I'm Karen Bosick with Eye on Sun Valley. Thank you for joining us today with the beautiful Sun Valley Inn, which was recently remodeled, and I'm here with a very special guest, Colleen Crane. Many of you may know Colleen. She was a gourmet chef for a Winter's Feast, which was a yurt out on Warm Springs Golf Course. She has worked at the community library, and she has also worked for the Sun Valley Summer Symphony. Why we're here today, though, is that Colleen and her husband, Jim Liesenfeld, recently went all the way from Sun Valley, halfway around the world to Africa for an amazing 2-year trip. Colleen.
Well, thanks, Karen. Yes,
It
was amazing. It was so amazing. We left. In the beginning, we went to Africa for the first time in 2003, and we were on a tour, but it was a camping tour, and we were with guides and a few other people. Very nice, a beautiful trip. You just couldn't even believe it. The years went by, and we went back to Africa a couple more times, and we did what you call a self-drive, where at this junction we would rent a vehicle that came equipped with the stuff we needed. And generally we would keep to a small area because it's really wonderful to hang around in one place. You know, if you keep going and you're always looking for something, you forget that if you just sit still for a minute, you know, something will come to you. So that's what I feel Africa is very, very good in that way. But so we would rent a car and stay for a couple weeks and maybe do a small area, one park or maybe two. And then we thought, you know, where do we want to go next? And I thought, I just want to do so much of this. Why don't we do it all? You know, of course we didn't really do it all, but we wound up traveling 10,000 miles from Sun Valley to Cape Town, where we had bought a rig, a Toyota pickup with a camper on the back of it, had all the right stuff, 4-wheel drive and, you know, good tires. Although we wound up replacing those eventually, but we didn't have a plan except that we knew we wanted to go north until we came to the end, and then we would turn around and go south. So not having a plan was probably one of the hardest parts because it got easier and easier as we went along, but in the beginning it was like, well, where are we going? You know, and how are we going to get there? But it was so simple in the end. You just point the car the way you want to go and stop when you want to.
So what were the roads like to drive?
For the most part, they were bad.
Good.
Even the highway, they're not big on maintenance in most places, unless you're near a big city where there's a lot of commerce, and who wants to be there? That's the last place you want to go. So you're on, say, what we might think of as a County 2 lane, only, you know, one of the lanes is completely disintegrated and everyone's driving on the side and, you know, dodging potholes and stuff. So you just had to be really, really patient.
Was there a lot of traffic out on the road?
Not really, no.
So you had them to yourself most
of the time. You'd get close to some sort of civilization and you'd see a few more cars. And, you know, standards there are a little different than here. You'll see a lot more older cars and broken down cars and vans packed with people. But, you know, that's how people get around. Motorcycles, you know, so you had to be really careful to watch for motorcycles. You know, some guy's got his whole family and the family dog and maybe a cow going to market on this motorcycle. You don't want to mess with him.
Did you have any problem with mud during monsoon season?
Yes. We the whole trip kind of centered around what are we going to do when it rains? Where are we going to be when it rains? And it rains. What they have, the short rains are from about end of October to the end of November. And then it clears up for the holidays at the December, and it usually stays pretty nice until the 1st of January, where then you're going to have rain January, February, and March. And it won't, you know, particularly, we didn't see it, you know, rain for days and days at a time, but when it comes down, seriously, comes down.
So when it getting stuck?
Oh, yeah. So there's almost no avoiding it. We were in Tanzania, where I would say the roads are probably the worst we drove on, and it's been raining for days. Sun will come out and, you know, make it all look beautiful, which it does, but you're still ankle deep in mud and learning how to use the diff locks. And I drove us off the road. The mud was like butter. I mean, I never had a chance. We thought the road would be okay, and I turned onto it, and we went about 50 feet, and all off to the side, sunk sideways, up to the axles. It's getting dark. You know, we hear lion. It's, you know, there's nobody
don't
around.
think about that.
Yeah, you don't think about that, but it's there. After that, we realized, okay, all we got to do, we just, A, don't get stuck, and B, if you do, push it. You know, make it happen. You can get out. This is a good truck. So we had a couple more tries to do that, and it worked. You know, that was really fun.
But thanks to him, you're here today.
Yes. All the bad things that happened, nothing was that bad.
We need to take a break, but I do want to come back and hear about the campgrounds and the wildlife you saw.
Good.
So
Okay.
We'll be right back.
Barry Peterson Jewelers, a luxury jewelry store in Ketchum, Idaho, specializing in custom design and repair.
Jewelry making, I look at as more of architecture. A piece of jewelry is more of a link between a man or a woman or mankind and the gemstone world. And so there is actually a lot of engineering that goes involved, that I think is involved with making a piece of jewelry that someone's going to wear every single day of their life. That part of the 3D thinking is a huge factor.
Create your custom piece with Barry Peterson today.
We're mods. We have coffee, we have pastries, we have clothing. We sell it all. We have a range of vintage clothing, high-end women's and everyday wear, ranging from Pendleton to fancy going out dresses. Some clothing even dating back to the 20s.
Hi, I'm Jacob. My wife Tara and I are the owners of Mods. We're both a coffee shop and a clothing store. We use Harrison Insurance for everything. Business, auto, renters, even our little dog is insured.
The nuances of our unique business are covered with Harrison, and I don't think that I could have obtained that going to a big insurance company directly.
We feel that if something were to happen tomorrow, we'd be okay because we have Harrison Insurance to help us.
Harrison Insurance for all of your insurance needs.
Thank you for joining us again. I'm here with Colleen Queen talking about her magnificent trip through Africa, driving on their own. Colleen, which countries did you go through?
Well, we did 13 countries in southern and eastern Africa. We started in South Africa, so we did Namibia, Namibia, Botswana, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Tanzania, Rwanda, Uganda, Kenya, Ethiopia, Mozambique, Malawi, and Swaziland.
Okay.
And so that's 13 countries. We traveled 70,000 kilometers from start to finish, and that's about 50,000 miles, U.S. miles. Took us 22 months, and we loved to stop and hang out in places that we liked.
And what were the campgrounds like?
Oh, some of them were just so primitive. You were literally just opening up the camper in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by who knows what. You had to be really
no
careful.
People for the most
Very
part.
few people.
Wow.
As you get further and further south, you run into more people. And in certain seasons, I think Tanzania and Kenya are very popular because it's easy to get to those countries. But campgrounds varied from, again, absolutely nothing to some pretty nice campgrounds. Rwanda in particular has some lovely campgrounds, although it's a very small country and they only really have a few parks. But Zimbabwe has built their campgrounds years ago, and they were magnificent. Oh, these big sculptures and rock buildings and like almost a castle look in this one campground, only it's never really been maintained, so it's crumbly and it looks like something from an apocalyptic movie, you know, so it was really cool. But very rarely were they fenced. So you'd be out there with elephants, hippos, the two big, you know, never even think about going outside. If an elephant's in your camp, you know, you just wait. But those are the two big creatures that you've got to be concerned about. The stealthy creatures like lions, leopards, cheetahs aren't really going to bother you, but you did need to be really careful, really careful. And we camped in a very small place, very bushy. You know, the truck fit just barely. We had maybe 2 feet on either side to move around, and I swear I never went out of that 2-foot range because we knew they were lying there. And walking around is not an option. There were actually signs, Karen, at one camp, and this was a little more formal camp, but there was a sign that said no jogging. And I'm like, you have to tell people this, you know, seriously? But it's true. I guess there's a reason they put that sign up. But campgrounds weren't terribly cheap.
Really?
You know, yeah, I know.
So it did cost?
Oh, yes, it cost money. Sometimes you paid, you know, 200 miles from where you were going to camp, and then you had to get to your campground. But as, you know, I would say they averaged between 18 and 20, which sounds, you know, kind of like, oh my God, for nothing, but it really wasn't for nothing. You were camping in the most gorgeous, out of Africa scenery that, you know, yeah, I'd pay double for that in some places.
Were there any birds or plants that really stole your heart?
Oh, yes. The robin chat, okay, it's just a small bird, a little smaller than our robin, right? It sings like you wouldn't believe. And it would, a couple times in camp, it landed right outside our truck and just sang its heart out. So we felt like everywhere we went, the same robin chat was following us and singing. And the birds migrate north and south. So as we headed north, we ran into the migration of the carmine bee eaters, which are stunning. You know, they're brilliant magenta with greens and blues. They're this big, and they eat bugs on the wing. And the most impressive Abyssinian hornbill with its blue face and huge eyelashes, an enormous bill. I mean, its bill is huge. And we only saw that in northern Uganda and in Ethiopia. So I must say, though, another favorite was guinea fowl. You know, and I think everyone's heard of guinea fowl, the little dots, the blue dots on their wings, but there's 3 different kinds. There's the helmeted, crested, and vulturine. And I would say that those were, you know, I loved those. As far as mammals go, we could not get enough elephants. We'd see 1,000 elephants one day. We'd wake up in the morning and be ready to see 1,000 more. We'd say, oh no more elephant pictures. We've got too many. And then, you know, we just sit there.
Well, what was it about the elephants?
They're so big. And they travel in groups, so you almost always have a variety of sizes. And the little ones are hilarious. And everybody's in tune to the little ones. You know, the little guy will step out to see maybe who we are. And we didn't try to get close to these creatures. They could come to us. And they were just darling. I mean, their movements, and they take that trunk, and some of the little ones were so small they didn't know how to work their trunk. So it was a constantly entertaining. There are a lot of elephants in Africa, but don't be fooled. You know, if we don't get a handle on this business, there won't be any more. And there are some brilliant people very dedicated to preserving what's left. It's very difficult. So I would recommend go now. And take your time, see as much, you know, don't try to drive 1,000,000 miles unless you've got 2 years. But you really, it's something to see, it's worth seeing now. The people are every bit as wonderful as the wildlife and the scenery. You just can't go wrong.
Wow.
It's fabulous.
Well, Colleen, thank you so much for sharing your wonderful stories with us and your wonderful pictures. I mean, fabulous photographs and video.
You can't help it. I mean, you know, there's just so many beautiful things to take pictures of. I'm not a photographer, but I did great. You know?
But you wouldn't know it. I mean, they're fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Karen Bosick with Eye on Sun Valley. Until next time, I'm keeping my eye on Sun Valley for you.
La Cabanita Mex, dubbed by the locals as authentic, tasty Mexican food and drinks with a festive atmosphere. And a pretty darn good sports bar, too. Big screens all over. La Cabanita prides itself on their Authentica Cocina Mexicana. Good food, very fast service, and delicious house recipes with those special Mexican spices. La Cabanita Mex, serving lunches, dinners, catering, company parties, and takeout. Ketchum and Bellevue. La Cabanita Mex.
Hi, I'm Gary, manager of the Attic Thrift Store in Haley, and today I'm not here to sell you anything or tell you about any great deals at the Attic. We all know the Attic always has great deals. That goes without saying. Instead, the Attic and its staff would like to give a sincere thank you to all its loyal customers and generous donors who help to make a huge impact in our community. How? For those who don't know, the Attic Thrift Store is a nonprofit that exists to help support the advocates whose mission is to teach people of all ages to build and maintain healthy relationships through education, shelter, and support services. With your help, we are making a difference in ending domestic violence and sexual assault. Every day, lives are changed at The Advocates. Please visit our website at www.theadvocatesorg.org. So from all of us, thank you for shopping and donating to The Attic. You're truly...
Better food, better price, better service. Atkinson's Market, supporting local farmers since 1956.
Hi, I'm Karen Bosick with Eye on Sun Valley. Today we have the wonderful opportunity of being here with Buck Wild. Now, Buck, if you've seen any nature programs at all on Alaskan bears or wolves, chances are Buck was there as a guide, a cinematographer, and now a producer. Thanks for joining us, Buck. I know you're in town to give a presentation for Synergy on behalf of Idaho Conservation League, and that's just wonderful. I wondered, how did you get into this business?
Wow, I hope I can give you a short answer, Karen. That was 30 years ago.
Oh.
I was a technocrat working for the CIA doing body language technology as it applied to counterintelligence.
Whoa.
And it had to do with recognizing automatically certain body movements and facial tics in real time to feed to interrogators. I was involved in that technology. For other reasons we won't go into here, I left that world and went into the wilderness. And I quickly realized that body language is a big aspect of working with large predators like bears and wolves. That not only reading their body language and analyzing it, but also transmitting back in a two-way conversation to them my body language to speak to them in their own language.
Could you give an example?
Yeah. For example, if a bear approaches me up to a point and turns sideways, that tells me automatically that it is trying to show me how big and strong it is. But by psychobabbling it a little bit, it also tells me that that bear is not going to press me any further. It's basically bluffing me. Similarly, if a bear approaches me and sits down, I know that it is saying, I'm coming close to you, but I am not presenting any kind of a threat to you, and I want you to understand that. That's the way bears communicate to one another, through this kind of body language, and it's the type of thing that I use.
And then how do you respond back to that bear? How do you talk to him?
It all depends on, of course, what what they're sending to me, the messages that they're sending to me, it's a real-time psychobabble again, and it's very dynamic. But as long as the bear is not any threat to me and is in a natural behavior situation, I just keep the camera rolling, keep my head in the viewfinder and shoot away. If things become a little bit tenuous, and sometimes they do, as we'll see in some of my presentation this evening, if they're pressing it on me, all bets are off. I turn the camera off. I get into a full-on body language communication with that bear or wolf, and that's what I do.
Can you tell me a couple of your experiences out in the wild? I bet you've had a few interesting ones.
Too many to count, Karen. Many hundreds a year. Very close encounters, as close as you to me right now. It's part of the world that I live in, thick with bears and wolves. But a thing that happened to me 28 years ago, 29, on my first summer on Kodiak Island, I was photographing as green as grass. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to run a camera, but I had one, and I'm photographing this mother with 2 cubs on the bank behind her, and she's fishing for salmon and catching them and throwing the fish up onto the bank for the cubs to eat. And this goes on, and I'm shooting, and then all of a sudden, she looks at me with a different kind of state of mind and does a full-on charge. As fast as can be, directly at me, stood up above me, roaring in my face with her ears back, and so loud I remember my chest was resonating. I was scared to death. Then she dropped down and her nose was like right here in front of my belly. I really thought I was toast. And she gave a gesture in this direction that I knew was not about me.
Oh, really?
And she went like this with a grunt. There was a 3rd cub behind me that I didn't realize. And then she took that cub and swatted it into the river. It swam across the river to the other 2 cubs. She went back to fishing as if nothing ever happened. And that really taught me a lot about the nature of the bear.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness she... Give me another exciting story.
Well, on the BBC program Great Bear Stakeout, which you can see in this country on Animal Planet or BBC America, we had a big 1,000-pound male bear that had buried a seal in a tidal flat, and the tide had washed it away overnight. And I stationed my crew back there the next morning, hoping to see the seal and the bear. And the bear and my crew were both surprised to see that there was no seal, because the tide had carried it back out during the receding high tide. And my crew was maybe at a safe distance, maybe 50 yards away. And we're filming away, and he looks at us, and you see the wheels turning in his head. He's saying, I don't know where that seal is, but these characters over here with cameras must have something to do with it. And he came straight at us, not in a charge, but very deliberately walked straight to us. And this is on the show, Great Bear Stakeout. And however, about maybe just 10 feet away from us, he stopped and turned sideways. And that told me right at that point, he was not going to press it any further. He was bluffing us with that body, big profile message, basically saying, don't you see how big I am? You guys don't want to mess with me, do you? And that told me he wasn't going to be any more aggressive. I had all the members of 3-man crew down on our knees, and that was it. He turned away and walked away.
So, no running.
You never run. I say, what I tell people is, if you don't want to become a victim, don't act like prey.
Okay.
And the other thing I say, keep your head in the ground, or your head in the game and your feet on the ground.
I like that.
Yeah, and running is a sure way to get in trouble. And I can tell you, with thousands of encounters, I have never run. And that's why I'm here.
Wow. We need to take a break. We'll be right back.
My name is Megan Murphy-Lingle, and I am the founder of SQN Sport. SQN Sport means sine qua non, and that means only the essential in Latin. The brand is built around the idea of what is essential for sport and an active life. And what we try to do is take away a lot of the extra embellishments on garments that people probably don't need that drive up the cost of the garment. By reducing it, we get a more contemporary, minimal design, and it also meets our brand message, which is what is essential.
No matter your taste or personal style, the shopping in Sun Valley has what you need for a day in the mountains or elegant night on the town. From bike sales, rentals, repair, outdoor accessories, and souvenirs to high-end, on-trend fashion and sportwear, including a hip, modern women's boutique, there is something for everyone in the Sun Valley Village. Don't forget about the kids, as stepping foot in the toy store is a dream come true for the little ones. The Sun Valley Village shopping options blend a touch of European style with Main Street USA hospitality, all in a charming mountain town setting.
Welcome back. I'm here with Buck Wild, who is an amazing wildlife photographer and cinematographer. Buck, what's it like? I mean, what's your average day like in the office?
You mean in the wilderness office?
Yeah, the wilderness
That's
office.
my favorite office. I hate the one behind the computer, Karen. Well, you know, it really depends. If I'm working with bears, the areas that I go to, I generally see lots of bears every day.
Really?
And if I'm working with wolves, even if I'm close to the den site, say within half a mile or so, I don't generally go any closer to the den site for sensitivities there. But it may be days on end before I see a wolf, even though I know I'm in the right area. They're a much more wary critter, but yeah, it depends.
So are you just sitting there with your camera hoping, or, I mean...
There is a strategy to it, and the way to think of it is that the natal den site acts as their home base, and there are trails like the spokes of a wheel that go in every direction out. But there's just me and one other person who always has to be with me for safety at one of these spokes on a wolf trail. And my job as a wilderness expert, so to speak, is to make the best strategic guess on which one of these trails the wolves are going to be on that day. And I can't get it any better than about 50%, which isn't bad. But
that's pretty good, I would say. Now I understand that wolves are on the increase in Alaska?
That's correct. Thanks to climate change, there is an increase in the amount of browsing habitat for moose. And the moose are the primary prey base for the wolves. So as glaciers are receding and as winters are getting, snow cover in winter is diminishing on the average, there's more accessible willow browsing for the moose. So the moose numbers are up, and the wolf numbers are coming up right along with it. So 30 years ago, 20 years ago, even 10, it would be, maybe I'd see a couple wolves a year. Now I see a wolf every day. It's that dramatic.
Wow. And I understand this is a good thing for you because your next project, the project you're working on now, involves wolves.
It is. It's sort of it's where my head is, as they say, in that game. And it features a Swiss photographer lady friend of mine, Esther. And she is the on-camera person. I'm the cinematographer, and it's about her adventure, her odyssey of living with a pack of wolves.
And you said that wolves are a more complex animal than bears.
In my estimation, based on thousands of encounters with both yes, the wolves are much more wary of people. I hate to say this to all us bear lovers, but I think the wolves are smarter, and they're just really witty animals. They play games with you all the time. As an example, while I was on one of these, Esther and I were staking out one of these spokes of the from the den site, and we got skunked for 2 days in a row. And we said, well, we got to change, move to another spoke. And so we did, and got skunked the third day, went back to the original position, and in the grass that we had worn down from our stakeout point, the wolves had been laying there the previous day, the day that we had moved away, as evidenced by wolf hair all over the place. They were shedding out right there. And no one will ever convince me that they weren't intentionally sending us a message that, you know, we're one step ahead of you guys.
And you told me as well about 2 little guys that weren't big enough to carry on most of the normal chores of wolves.
Yes, adolescent wolves, that is in their first year, are not big and strong and trained well enough by the alpha male who's the lead hunter. He doesn't have trust in them to be effective hunters. Just like taking a teenager out, you know, they're probably going to bungle things up a little bit. So they give them something to do. And what they do with these adolescents, if Esther and I are in the area, they will assign those adolescents to come over and stake our base camp out. When we wake up every morning, Esther has a cup of coffee waiting for me. She gets up earlier than I do. And she'll always say, hey, Buck, you know, the wolves are out here. Come on, let's get the cameras going. And my best story from last summer on that, believe it or not, just to show you how rich this area is, I had a cup of coffee in my hand, got my camera, went over the electric fence with Esther, and we're out there filming these 2 wolves laying around, playing around for hours. I'm in my PJs and my moccasins and a cup of coffee.
I like this office.
I kid you not. And before lunchtime, a mother bear with 2 cubs came in, scared the 2 wolves back to they took off and laid down right in the same area within 100 feet of my base camp, and she was nursing these 2 cubs right in front of us, and we're filming the whole thing. Honestly, I think I didn't get dressed until 1 o'clock that afternoon.
Oh, wow. So this is like having your little mini talent agency right in the middle of the wilderness.
Absolutely. It's, you know, that's really the real core of the experience base that I've built up, is knowing when and where to go to find the animals. And it's not easy to find those places, but it's like being a good hunter, really. If you know where to go and are willing to spend the time and have confidence in your decisions, things often work out.
Is there anything that you've come to really appreciate with bears or wolves over the many, many years you've been working with them that perhaps you didn't realize in the beginning?
Oh yeah, with the bears, it would have to be their amazing tolerance and indifference to me or Esther and I. Okay, and with the wolves, it will be their amazing wit and a little bit of curiosity, but mostly 2 steps ahead of you and on their own agenda, but coming back to check on you to make sure that they know where you are.
Okay. And I know you started filming this last summer. You'll be back on the trail this summer. When might we expect to see this?
We're scheduling this for release, ready for release at least, in spring of next year.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I plan to go to Zurich, where Esther lives, and spend a month or 2 to do the final edit on it. And the first edit is in process right now.
And what, at least, is the working title?
Boy, I don't know if I want to release that.
Oh, okay. Don't if it's a big secret.
I don't think I want to. I'm not going to let that title.
Well, how do you come back next year?
I'm not going to let Esther's last name out of the bag either.
Okay.
Okay. I know we're going to get pestered on this.
Okay. We'll have you back next year when you're ready to let the cat out of the bag. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Buck, it's wonderful seeing you again. And thank you, folks, for joining us today. I hope you learned a little bit about our great outdoors. Until next time, I'm Karen Bosick with Eye on Sun Valley, and I'm keeping my eye on the valley for you.
You know, we go through a lot of traumatic mental breakdowns, and as you transition out of the military, you don't get a mental uplift. So if it's a veteran that doesn't know about hyperbarics, well then let's figure out how we can talk, because there's room for you here. It's going to heal you. So, and it starts with the brain regardless of what else is manifesting outside of that, and then spirit comes alive. And that's, for veterans at least, the most important thing is getting their spirit back.
Better food, better price, better service. Atkinson's Market, supporting local farmers since 1956.
Are you like me and can't stand paying your insurance bill? Just when you pay all your bills for the month, then along comes that dreaded insurance bill, putting the hurt on your checking account. Hello, I'm Mark Balkos, president of Wood River Insurance. That's why Wood River Insurance is an independent insurance agency. This means we have a multiple of insurance companies we offer to our clients. This allows us to hold the insurance companies accountable for coverage, service, and most important of all, pricing. When I started in this business 33 years ago, I only represented one company to my customers. And after a while, I felt as though my hands were tied when trying to be as competitive as I could. As an independent insurance agency, we represent you to the insurance company, not the insurance company to you. This allows Wood River Insurance to be as competitive as possible. So call us today at 208-7...
Good morning, Eye on Sun Valley. This is Marie Skitching, and welcome. So I had such a great time a month ago or so with Chef Laurent, who's also my friend. So I invite him over again in my kitchen, just because I like to argue with him. So Chef, welcome back.
Hello again.
Yes.
Eyes on Sun Valley. Very happy to be with you, Marie.
Thank you, Laurent. And today you have a recipe with chicken for us. Can you explain?
Poulet aux champignons en français, in French.
Right.
Okay. Champignons à la crème. So it's a French,
classic.
Also, yeah. Very simple.
Yeah.
My mom used to do it when I was kids. So we're gonna do seared chicken, roasted chicken au jus. Au jus, it's a French name that's basically a chicken stock reduction with a little bit butter, of course.
Of course.
And then seared mushrooms with cream.
Yes.
So it's a dish that's very easy to make and tasty, and like all the French cuisine or the Belgian cuisine.
I do love the mushroom sauce. I really do. Yeah. So the first thing you're gonna do, Chef, is what? To show us.
I'm gonna show you how to cut the chicken legs.
Okay.
If you do not want to use the chicken legs, you can also use the chicken breast.
Yes.
Personally, the flavor is better on the dark meat than the white meat.
Yeah, me too.
That's
I like
me.
it.
Some people prefer the breast. I serve the breast at the restaurant because there's no bones. It's boneless.
Right.
Okay, so it's easier to eat for people.
But I'm like you. I read it to have.
And today we use also button mushrooms, champignon Paris.
Champignon Paris, yes.
But at the restaurant I use Morels mushrooms.
Okay.
So.
Oh, that's right. That's that's right.
The Morels.
Okay.
We go pick the Morels.
Yeah.
Here. Yeah. You don't know the spot. I know.
My girlfriend loves that recipe. She always orders the same thing when she goes to Michel. Yeah. All right, go ahead, Chef.
All right.
It's all yours.
It's very simple. You see, you have a bones and a joint in the middle, so we just go like this, okay, and then go in the middle right here, and then after that you just push it down.
And voila.
Et voila.
Yes.
It's cut. And then what we do now, we're gonna season it and sear it and roast it in the oven.
Okay, sounds great. Thanks, Chef.
There you go. So now we're ready to sear the chicken. So we're gonna use about, I don't know, 1-2 tablespoons of butter, Mary.
2 tablespoons, I will say.
Yeah, just a nice.
Yeah.
You know, the butter gives us such a nice flavor, so we don't hesitate it. So I'm gonna make sure it melts nice.
It's singing again.
Yeah, it's singing again. It chants. Same with the. So I told you last month when I was on the show that it's very important always have a hot pan.
Yes.
Because you don't want to have a boiled meats. Any steak, any chicken has
You want
to be.
to really sear it.
Sear it. So I'm add salt and pepper. Okay. And I have fresh thyme, and I'm gonna put it in the butter like this because it gives a nice flavor. And you're gonna, it's popping in. So you're gonna back up a little bit.
Yes.
It's like popcorn, but it's thyme. So it's a French popcorn type. And I'm gonna put it on higher. And we're gonna bring a nice coloration so it's not quite ready. Okay. And what I did before, like the other show, I prepared some chicken already because it takes 20 minutes to cook. So I have some chicken already cooked that we will plate.
Oh, yes,
and
yes.
Get it, okay?
Yes.
But I'm gonna show you the technique of, it's getting there. It's getting
So,
a little
Chef,
bit.
how old were you when you got to the U.S. from Burgundy?
From Burgundy, it was 1999. So I was born in 73. I'm not good in math.
So, yeah, it's been 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, about that, yeah.
Yeah, because I've been here for almost 30. I've been here in 1990. So,
Wow.
yeah, I got
Yeah.
here 10 years before you.
Before me, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're older than me.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
See, we have a nice golden colorations here. So some people will add some, I don't like that, but some chef will flour it before to get a bit bigger crust on the chicken, like the fried chicken. But I like simple, and it's gluten-free as well, okay, for gluten allergy. So see, it's nice colors. And this is what we're gonna do now. It's very important step that your chicken won't be dry and will have that nice colorations. I'm just gonna pour the chicken stock, and you can hear it singing. So it's about a cup of chicken stock. Okay. And we're just gonna get all the caramelizations like we did the months before for the onion soup. And I'm gonna put it in the oven now at 400 degrees and for about 20 minutes, something like this. You always check, you know, but usually 20 minutes it's good. So see, it's boiling now, so I'm gonna put it in the oven.
I always sense a level of honesty, you know, in the music that we create.
It's all about listening to each other and taking styles and blending them.
We just let our music happen, and sometimes it takes us to places where we never thought we could go, and we're looking at each other when we're done going, how do we do that? And that's really the only way that you can create that kind of magic, is to just leave space for it to happen.
Audio Innovations is an innovative audio-visual company that designs, integrates, and simplifies a truly custom system to keep you comfortable, entertained, and secure in your own home. Audio Innovations TJ's Electric offers a variety of services, from phone systems to lighting control systems, HVAC systems, home theater, electrical, audio, and video, drapery systems, and more. Audio Innovations, 91 East Croy Street,
Alturas Plaza in Hailey.
All right, now we're gonna take care of the mushrooms. All right. So I'm gonna put on high and on the back. Let me see. Here we go. Same procedure. Butter. Okay.
It's about 2 tablespoons.
Yeah, about 2 tablespoons.
Yeah, it is.
You know, I use my finger. It's a French way to move stuff, but when you're beginner in cooking, you always burn yourself. So, but I don't feel anything anymore. I don't have fingerprint anymore.
I am at the same stage.
When I come back from France, every time I have the same problem. As I go to the immigration, and they make you, you know, with a passport.
Oh, yeah, the fingerprint.
And he never had my fingerprints, or they always put me on the side. There you go, we're gonna sear the mushrooms. Mushroom cook very fast.
Yeah.
I didn't show you how to cut the mushrooms.
Right.
You know, you just slice it
them.
and whatever. Or you can cut it in a quarter if you want it bigger, but I like it this way, it cooks faster. Okay. I'm gonna add salt and pepper. Okay. And as I said before, just, you know, see, it cooks very fast. We just make them nice and it's pretty fast, nice. We don't need to have them brown like the onions.
Right.
We just sear them. And here in a restaurant, I serve this, it's the same concept, but we use Morels mushrooms. Because in the area, you know, I know some spot where I go in spring, probably around June. This year was not a good year, but around June we go harvest our home mushrooms and we dry them.
You dry them,
and then we, you know, in the winter I use them. I put them in the water, hot water the day before, and then they soak. And then, you know, you press them, and so it's the same concept. I will sear them, and with the Morels I will add a little bit shallots to bring a bit sweetness.
Yes, yes.
You know, but with the Paris mushroom, see how fast they cook. Okay.
Have a lot of water.
And you don't have to saute them. Okay. If you can't saute them, just use a spatula, and you know, I saute them because, you know, for me.
So where did you go to school, chef?
In Burgundy, near my hometown, Chalon-sur-Saône.
Yeah.
I actually didn't go to school. We have a program in France we call Be Apprenti.
Apprenti, yes.
So I was doing 3 weeks in a restaurant. I choose a restaurant who needs apprentices, and I'm still very friend with them, with the owner. I mean, he's retired, but the family took over. So we're doing 3 weeks in a restaurant, working like an employee, and then 1 week a month at school to learn the basic, like, you know, temperature, I mean, you know, hygienes, all those stuff, you know, learn a little bit English. So that helped me when I arrived in the United States. Otherwise, I would have nothing. And as you can see, they're ready. Okay, we don't have to have them brown. All right. Some people will add a touch of garlic, but I like just the flavor of the mushrooms, okay?
Yeah,
but you can add whatever you want. It's your recipe.
Right.
We just do the concept, I mean the basic. After that, you add whatever you want. You want to have some herbe de Provence or whatever for the flavor, you can add that, okay?
Yeah.
But simple mushrooms for me are the best.
I'm with you on that.
Okay, so you see you want to make sure it's on high temperature.
Okay.
Okay, and we're just gonna add about half cup. I'm gonna reserve a cup for the chicken.
Okay.
So we just have about half cup of white wine.
In the mushrooms?
In the mushrooms.
So the other half will go to the chicken?
To the chickens.
Okay.
And we're just gonna get it same as we did before with the onion soup last month. We get all the suc, the caramelizations of the onions. Okay, and as you notice, it's boiling, all right? So, and what we're gonna do now, we're gonna reserve those mushrooms on the side.
Okay.
Okay, and I cook prior the show. Some chicken is already cooked. As you can see, this is the best. This is the caramelization of our chicken, you know, and the butter.
Yeah, I know.
Divine. I know you want to do the same.
Yeah,
so
I do.
what I'm gonna do is so they've been cooking for 20 minutes with the chicken jus, okay? And I'm gonna reserve them on the side like this. And then look at this. this is the best part.
Yum.
See, look at this nice caramelization. That's when we're gonna use the rest of the wine and pour it into it. There we go. And then we get all that nice caramelization. So just do like I do, or again use a spatula. Okay, and you look at that. Okay, that's the best jus you can get.
Yum.
And so we're gonna reduce that a little bit. Okay, and we can taste the flavor. It's pretty good. I know, Mary, you want some.
I know I do.
I'm gonna reserve it for me.
Okay. No, we share.
Okay.
Okay, good.
All right, and that's when we're gonna add our cream. So, see, it's boiling, and I'm gonna add the cream. Still on high gas, okay. All right, that's good. And we're gonna just mix it all together.
That looks divine.
I didn't ask you, Mary, do you have a strainer?
I do.
We're gonna strain it because there's a little bit
Chef,
some.
yeah.
I don't want to put some black parts of the fat didn't melt. So when I deglaze with the white wine before I put the cream, what I do at the restaurants is I deglaze with cognac.
Oh yes.
Okay, and white wine.
Okay.
But the cheapest way is, just white wine. And as you notice, look at that, the cream start to, with the reductions, get thicker and thicker, and then we're gonna obtain a sauce. So we don't really have to strain it because it's melting or it's going to, so just, and by the fact you just keep moving the pan like this, the cream's not gonna break. If you leave it boiling, the cream's gonna separate, and then it's very hard to get it back. Or you will have to use maybe like a trick, add some cornstarch to it, make it thicker. But this is just the pure reductions, okay? And
as long as you keep an eye on it, it's fine.
Yes, and now what we're gonna do is we're gonna dip our chicken in, okay? And just get our chicken nice and juicy in, okay? And we're gonna do the same with our mushrooms. And we had it, see the juice of the mushrooms? All right, so just add this to it. So if there will be morels, the flavor will be different.
Oh, will be completely different.
Well, what I will do with the morels, I will not add the morels to this. I will have put the morels to the cream sauce on the side, and then just put on the top of the chicken, because the sauce will be, already. So there you go. So we have our chicken nice and fresh, and it took what, 20 minutes total?
Yeah, probably.
For that
no
recipe?
more than that for sure.
Okay.
No more than that.
So often the best recipe are the shorter one, easiest one. The one you have like 20 steps to do, it's it's good, but for a beginner, if you love to cook, that's simple. And our chicken is ready. Now we just have to test it.
Oh my goodness.
I need a little bit more salt. And voila. There you go. Poulet à la crème et champignons.
Oui.
Perfect.
Okay.
Ready to test?
I am always ready to taste.
There we go. We're ready.
All right.
I guess I'm one of the younger ones there at the Connection. I just love to go listen to their stories. I have a lot of respect for those people, and there's a World War II bomber pilot, artists, construction workers, retired CEOs. One of the guys that sits at our table was an avid motorcycle rider. About 30 years ago, he had a pretty horrific accident. He was in a coma for about a month and hasn't ridden since. Recently, we got him up to the Wagon Days parade, took him on the parade route, got him in my sidecar. He said that was one of the best days of his life.
Better food, better price, better service. Atkinson's Market, supporting local farmers since 1956.
All right, chef. So now we're done.
Yep.
This
Now
recipe, it's very easy. We saw it.
It's very basic and easy to cook. Anybody
20
can
minutes
do it.
and it's done.
Yeah, 20 minutes, it's done. And, you know, it's good dishes for sharing with your friend
Yes.
or every day. And then I would accompany that with maybe some sauté potatoes or also mashed potatoes. Yeah, mashed potatoes would be great because you can pour the sauce. You know, when we were a kid, we used to do a volcano with, and put a hole in the middle, and grandma used to pour the sauce, and you know, the volcano was coming down. That was one of the funny parts. So
you know,
that's
I will serve that with pasta as well.
Yes, you could. Yeah, fresh pasta, you know, tagliatelle or linguine.
Yeah, tagliatelle
The tagliatelle
for sure.
would be great.
Fettuccine,
Fettuccine, yeah.
But now it's the best moment for me. We're gonna taste.
No, you don't taste anything today. That was the bad news.
No. You can.
Our guests taste it and you don't.
All right, I'll share. How about that?
That sounds good. All right, so we're just
chef.
gonna plate, you know, very simple, you know, and we usually serve a legs per person.
And
So
I have this spoon if you want to put some
sauce and mushrooms. Yes, definitely.
That looks delicious.
Yes. Go and put that on here. And let's get some mushrooms.
Yes,
the best
chef.
part. See.
Oh my goodness. All right, I'll share. I had enough.
Okay. There you go.
All right.
You know what we miss with that? Nice French baguette.
Oh, yum.
To dip in a
yes.
sauce. That would have been pretty fantastic. And I'll leave the spoon there. And then just for fun, you know, for the presentation.
Oh, I like that.
You know, just to
I
bring
do like that.
just a small touch, you know, on your plate when you have guests.
I do
And
like
it's,
that.
You know, I do that at the restaurant too.
Oh,
you know,
I love it.
it's to put the plate, you know, the dish more in. You know,
it's more
it's
inviting.
An happiness. It's
Yes.
invited. Say, eat me.
It's happy.
It said, eat
me.
Mange-moi.
Yeah, mange-moi.
Mange-moi.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
Allez, bon appétit, chef.
Marie.
We're going to taste this. Okay, I don't know which one I want to go. I'm going to go this way. Yes. Oh my gosh. Look at this. Perfect.
And the mushrooms? Excellent.
Oh.
Yep.
You know, makes me laugh because, you know what, chef? I always say the same thing over and over at the end of each show. It's delicious. It's so good. Well, thank you for joining us in my kitchen, Ion Sun Valley.
Yep.
And I really appreciate you taking the time to come back one more time and share your recipe with us.
I think it's very fun, and
it is fun, isn't it?
It's a pleasure for me to
thank you,
share.
chef.
I love cooking; it's my passion.
I know you do, and you're a good cook.
So
that's for sure.
come to see me at Michel, and say you saw me on Eyes on Sun Valley.
Yes.
And I will send you a pomfret or something else.
Oh, thank you, chef.
Right.
I'm going. I might have the chicken or morel.
There you go.
But I do like your hamburger, though, at
Yes.
Michel. I have to say, it's one of my favorite.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you so much for watching Ion Sun Valley, Marie's Kitchen, and like we say, au revoir.
Au revoir.
Au revoir, chef.
Au revoir,
Merci
Marie.
beaucoup.
À bientôt.
À bientôt. Bye.
Bye.